What's up, guys, and welcome to day 95 or 4 or 6, I'm not really sure, of my daily video log. And today's message is about how to choose the highest ROI activity. Well, actually, the answer is I don't know exactly how yet, but I'll tell you some things I'm starting to do to make sure I'm actually choosing activities, not just opportunities that are high leverage, like what business model you choose, but like the actual things you work on day to day, how to choose the highest leverage ones. So like for me right now, I'll just tell you some things I'm doing. Like I have a design review meeting with my client tomorrow. Okay, so whenever I have a design review meeting, so this is before we develop the website. We do the design of the website in Figma, right? And then we'll go show it to the client, see what they think, collect revisions, go make the changes, and then we'll come back, have another meeting, show it to the client, see what they think, collect revisions, go update the design, and come back until they're satisfied with it. And when they're satisfied with it, we actually move it into development. We develop it into a real website. We code it, right? So every time before a design review meeting with a client, I open up Google Docs and I make an outline. I write down in a heading every single section that's on the website. I write down my thoughts on the section, what I think we can improve, and then I put a bucket for their revisions. And I kind of like do that every time I have a design review meeting. So today what I did was, while I was making the outline for tomorrow, I was like, let me make an SOP as well, right? Because this stuff's the same every time, basically. So I made an SOP, and that's leverage, right? Because in the future, when I hire a project manager, they'll be able to use that to conduct the design review meetings. For me, in the future, when I have a design review meeting coming up, I can just go into the SOP, right? Go to the SOP version, duplicate it, and then change the templated details to the client's details, and boom, I'm ready to go for the meeting, right? So now, every time I have a design review meeting for myself, things are going to be much quicker because I have a template prepared. And in the template, not only do I include like a template prepared for collecting the revisions on the meeting, but also like a step-by-step process for how I need to conduct the design review. So number one, greet them. 30 seconds max. 30 seconds max. You know, keep it professional. Hop into business. No more than 30 seconds. Number two. Number two. It's like, if it's their first design review meeting, explain the format of the design review meeting using the explanation below, and explain the objectives of the design review meeting using the explanation below. And then step 3 is, if it's not their first design review meeting, remind them of the format and the objectives with the explanation below. So so like the intro of the call is going to be the same every single time, you know? Obviously, you're going to use different words. You're going to be a normal person and adjust, but like it gives you what you need to cover. Like you need to remind them of what are the goalposts of the call, what's the format. Then and then it says hop into it. It tells you what to do. Go through each section, tell them your thoughts, collect revisions, go to the next section, repeat till you're done all the sections. It tells you how to wrap up the call. So now I've built leverage because every time I have a design review meeting, I have to spend less time. I'm going to be able to outsource this to a project manager eventually because I'm documenting how everything needs to be done. And because I have an SOP, I can actually improve the system over time. So, and right, like even things like, you know, that I do with my clients, like I preface things with like please tell me revisions. Like, it is my pleasure and honor to hear your revisions. Like, you know, but like a project manager that I hire may not think like that right away. They may kind of be like, "Do you have any revisions?" and then they'll say the client will say their revisions and be like, thank you so much, and the project manager may be like, no problem. But like, that's not how I want my company to operate, you know? But that's why I'm documenting things like that. Like, I put that in there. Like, when they ask for revisions for each section, it says, make sure to say, it is my pleasure and honor to hear your revisions, right? So I'm documenting what I'm doing, and that's going to build leverage for me in the future because I won't have to do it. I'll have a project manager do it for me. And I'm just trying to now do this. I'm really, really trying to think, when I work, how do I actually just not just do choose the highest ROI activity that I need to do, but like, just how do I build as much leverage as possible? How do I build leverage, right? Another thing I'm doing is I'm going to publish another video on this, but it's about like, I have negative money. You can see at the top, but I have 3 potential clients, but they're all not in my niche. And so I'm going to say no to all of them. Now, given I'm supported by my parents, like food's paid for, housing's paid for. So if that wasn't the case, then obviously I'd take them on. But I'm not taking them on, even though I have negative money, because I just think it's not highest leverage. But more so what I'm thinking about is like, not just the big decisions like that, but like in the moment when I'm doing things, like how do I make my work more bang for buck, right? Like making decisions quicker is another thing I can do. I'm going to make a checklist, right? Like before I send off this other client I'm working with to development, I'm going to make a development checklist that my developer has to run through and put a check mark to each point for every single section of the website they develop. Because I noticed the revisions I give are very similar in nature each time. It's like the button sizing is slightly off compared to the design, or the spacing between 2 buttons is slightly larger, or the white space is slightly less than what the design was, or the image is slightly shifted to the right compared to how it is in the design, or like there's too much line spacing between the lines of text compared to the design. It's just the same stuff over and over, and I spent hours just making revision sheets for the developer saying, hey, fix this spacing, it's not the same as the design. Hey, fix this spacing, it's not the same as the design. Hours and hours and hours, right? So what I'm going to do is, before I hand off this project to development, I'm going to make an SOP, right? SOP : dev checklist. And it's going to be a process that they got to run through and put check marks on. And I am hypothesizing that it's going to greatly reduce how many hours I have to spend giving revisions to my dev. So that's leverage. That's leverage. So I'm trying to consciously think of, how can I keep choosing activities, not just like big picture, but smaller picture. Like when I'm actually doing my work in the moment, how do I choose high ROI, high leverage activities? And I really just couldn't find any good YouTube videos on it. So I'm going to have to make a framework for myself on how to choose these activities. And once I figure it out, I will make a video on it if I figure it out. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.